Most men today are terrified of being alone. Not because of the silence, but because in that silence there's no escaping from the truth. No phone, no noise, just you and all the parts of yourself you've been avoiding. And that's exactly why solitude is rare but powerful. If you can't sit still without grabbing your phone, if every quiet moment makes you want to reach for stimulation, you are not in control, you are addicted. And that addiction is killing your discipline, your clarity, and your drive. But the men who lead, the ones who rise above all, the ones who dominate, they've mastered solitude, not as isolation, but as a weapon. And in this video, I'll show you why every man needs it and how to reclaim not only your mind, but your life through it. So what is solitude exactly? Well, solitude isn't the absence of company, it's the presence of oneself. So don't get this confused with isolation. Isolation is something you do when you're a coward and you're this little depressed guy sitting in his room, pecking on his phone, playing video games, escaping from all the reality, not facing any of his problems head on. Don't confuse solitude with isolation. Solitude is something you do to bring clarity to your goals. It's the first step to self-mastery. It is intentional. Like, you aren't doing this on accident. You're intentionally isolating yourself with a goal to figure out who you are at your authentic core. It's the first step. It's the key to self-realization and power over oneself. It's not this thing you do to escape. But when you are in solitude, you are also alone, except for you are alone with your thoughts. You're confronting all the negative things you have going on, all the goals you want to attack, but you don't exactly know how. Solitude is something to do to bring clarity to these things. Solitude is something to do to organize your thoughts and figure out who you are at your authentic core. But if solitude is so great, why do most men never do it? Well, the first thing is they fear their own thoughts. They fear who they are deep down under all the distractions. They fear that if they were to get alone for long enough and not allow the distractions, that they would realize something about themselves. It would become more aware about this weakness or about this insecurity they have. They'd get so aware of it that it would hurt so bad. So they still isolate themselves. They still go in solitude, except for they distracted in solitude. They're not alone with their thoughts. They're alone with their phone, alone with their video games, alone with their porn, alone with their fast food. When a guy is distracted, he never confronts the demons that are within him. The demons that all men have, whether you want to admit them or not. We all face similar demons, if not the same exact demons. And there's a quote by Juvenal, who is like a poet from centuries ago. And it's something along the lines of, give them bread and circuses and they will never revolt, which is basically saying, as long as you are distracted, as long as you are feeling pleasure, you'll never actually do anything meaningful. You'll never fight back against the status quo. You'll never do anything outside of the norm. Because why would you? You're having fun, you're full of pleasure, life is good. There's no reason to revolt. There's no reason to fight against mediocrity. And I've always heard of solitude, and I thought it was just this thing where you're just being alone. I didn't quite understand what solitude was, but when I started running 2 or 3 years ago, that's when I really realized what solitude was about. What started off as me running as a discipline thing, because I hated running. I've talked about this in several of my past videos, but I did not like running. And this is why I started doing it, because I knew I wanted to build my discipline. I knew by doing something I hated every single day, I would eventually build the discipline that I could use to attack the other goals of my life, my financial goals, my relationship goals. Everything around me would get better if I just had discipline. What I realized after a few months of running, it would suck really bad, but like every once in a while, especially on my long runs, when I was running for over 45 minutes, like closer to an hour or more, my mind would get to this point where I'm feeling all the pain. I'm feeling all the troubling feelings, my knees, my ankles, and like my mind, the weak thoughts surface. Your mind's like, why are you doing this? You're not even a runner. What are you doing? You could be doing this. You could be making money right now. You could be talking to a girl right now. You could be cuddled up on the couch eating popcorn and pancakes. Like, you could be doing anything else. Why are you doing this? When I was on these long runs, I didn't realize how weak my mind was and how much internal insecurities, how much internal just pressure I had built up until I would get on these long runs. And when you are on these long runs and you're running, man, and everything's hurting, you don't even have time to really think about what's going on. Like, you have to be present in that moment. You have to be present, because if you're not, your brain starts wandering everywhere, and the next thing you know, you quit. But when you're facing all of these thoughts, all these negative beliefs, these limiting beliefs inside of your mind, all the insecurities you have, you really start to understand what they are, and you put together an organized plan to attack it. It's like your mind's telling you you're weak and you can't do it, but then again, you're still doing it. You're still running. Your mind's saying stop, yet you're still going. It was only when my mind grew tired when I would realize the weak thoughts that would come up. But way before I started running, I would achieve solitude through other ways, like lifting by myself. Of course, lifting with friends is always fun. You got the boys, you're hyped up, you're moving weights around. But when you lift by yourself and maybe you got some music on in the background, you're not really listening to the words, it's just rhythm in the background, and you're really just thinking. Like, you've all sat at the end of the bench press. You're about to hit a bench press, about to hit a heavy PR, and like the thoughts are going through your head, thinking about all the things that you've been bearing, like working out by yourself. There's nobody talking to you, man. You're just really alone with yourself. And that's what I did for the longest time. And now I kind of mix between my solo lifts. Of course, I live by myself a lot. And I also go on very, very long walks. And usually when I'm on these long walks, I don't have earphones on, I don't have AirPods on. Sometimes I listen to a podcast, but I'm really not listening to it. It's just in the background. But ideally, I'm not even wearing AirPods. I'm walking down the street. I'm looking at the surroundings around me. I'm just thinking about my day. I'm thinking about all the things I have to do. I'm thinking about the task list that I have written out. And I'm organizing my entire day on my walks. And I'm thinking about what I did yesterday and what I did yesterday, how it contributed to a successful day today, and like how I can perform today that'll make me better today than I was yesterday, and what I can do today to set me up for a better tomorrow. All these things are what I'm thinking about when I'm on my walks in solitude. And you can't do these things if you're packing on your phone, if you're thinking about video games, if you're thinking about that girl you're trying to sleep with. You can't think about these things if you're constantly distracted by all the things around you. Whatever you decide to do to gain your solitude, it's important that you do it first thing in the morning, because if you can achieve that solitude first thing in the morning, you set up your entire day for success. Because like I said, you are organizing your day, you're organizing your thoughts, you're resurfacing the goals you have set, you're thinking about your entire vision, right? And if you can embrace that vision, if you can attach some emotion to that vision, if you can organize all the negative beliefs and all of the positive things you want to achieve first thing in the morning, it sets you up for a positive and successful day. Of course, you can do this midday, you can do this at different parts throughout the day, but ideally you want to do at least some act of solitude first thing in the morning. I know I've already talked about a ton of benefits of solitude, but just to list them out plain and clear. 1, you hear your thoughts clearly. You figure out who you truly are inside of your mind. You figure out what you find valuable. You figure out what you find meaningful in life. You understand who you are at your authentic core. You figure out what your true life purpose is, what your goals are. You stop depending on external validation because you're so one with yourself. You understand yourself so clearly that you don't need anybody's validation around you. And you'll develop laser sharp vision, laser sharp clarity on your mission for your life. I recommend you start achieving some version of solitude as soon as possible. Just a quick startup guide, how to get started with your solitude journey, how to start achieving, how to start implementing solitude into your daily life. I will start with 15 to 30 minutes of solitude first thing in the morning. Once again, no phone, no distractions. Leave it at home if you're going on a walk or a run, or put it in the other room if you're meditating on the couch. Whatever you're doing, have your phone nowhere around you. You need to have no distractions when you're trying to achieve this level of solitude. I'd recommend you go on a walk outside. And when you're on this 15 to 30 minute walk outside in nature, you're getting that good vitamin D from the sun. You're getting clear on your mission. You're organizing your goals. You're thinking about the vision for your future. And if you don't have a vision, if you don't have a mission yet, I promise you, if you just do this act of solitude for long enough, eventually your brain will become so aware of who you are that your vision and your mission will become clear in due time. But if you do have an idea of what you want to do with your life or who you want to become, you want to visualize yourself when you're on these walks. Visualize yourself already in the position that you're trying to get to. You want to emotionally connect with that version of you who is living that life. Think about who he is. Think about how he walks. Think about how other people see him. Think about the impact he has had. And I want you to really, truly feel it. You want to make this vision real as possible. You want to make it so clear inside of your mind that you can feel it, that you can see it, and that you're basically becoming it for this 15 to 30 minutes when you're outside on this walk. And if you want to achieve the next level of solitude and unlock more of who you truly are at your authentic core, start doing some solo traveling, man. Start going to places you've never been before. Drive to another city. Leave your phone in the car. Drive to another city and walk around the park at a neighborhood or a city you've never been before, or drive to the beach. Go to the beach and spend a weekend down there at the beach, man. Walk and just feel the sand between your toes, you know. Go to an area. If you can go to another country, that's even better. That's something I may do here pretty soon. But I promise you guys, if you were to start practicing solitude on a daily basis, you will become 10 times better of a person than you are now, simply because you will not be distracted. You will learn to become more present. You will be more of your authentic self. You will stop pretending to be somebody else. You will stop hiding from the things, from the feelings you have going on inside of you, and you'll confront them face on, making you a more confident, a more strong and outgoing person. You have no reason for external validation because you know exactly who you are and you know what you're capable of. And you know exactly where you're going because you're organizing your life. You are getting clear on your path, on your mission when you are by yourself. And there's nobody around you. There's no different circumstances around you that are going to mold you, and they can't even touch you because you're so clear on who you are and where you're going. That's what solitude is about. That's how powerful solitude is. If you would just practice being alone, stop trying to be surrounded by people, stop trying to look for comfort in food and things on your phone and these videos and trying to get a good laugh. Figure out who you are. Sit alone with your thoughts. Don't let anybody else call you. Don't let anybody else message you. When the phone vibrates, shouldn't even be in the room, but if the phone vibrates, leave it away, turn off everything, and just get to know who you truly are. You'll thank me later. You'll find that solitude is one of the key pillars inside of my free community, the Transcendence, which is a community for young men who are trying to master their body, master their mindset, and master their finances. It's for young men who are trying to create an entirely new character, one who can achieve anything he puts his mind to, one that doesn't settle for mediocrity and goes after the goals and goes after the vision he truly wants for his life. So if you would like to become the hero of your own story and be surrounded by other men on the same path as you, there's going to be a link in the description of this video where you can join for a limited time for absolutely 100% free. This will only be for a limited time because eventually there will be a price tag on this community because I'm giving away so much value. All the workout plans, nutrition plans, mindset tactics, different things that men face in reality. And also the most important piece is the blueprint on how to start your own business, how to start making money for doing what you truly find meaningful in your life. So you'll be recreating yourself as a man and then giving that version of yourself to the world and getting paid for it. So click that link below if you want to secure one of those free spots to join the Transcendence. If not, as always, I appreciate you watching. I hope you come back again. Let's go!